Hi, this video is about taxes. Everybody's saying big companies should pay more taxes. Absolutely wrong. And here's why. I'm going to ask you a few questions first. What is a company? Can you tell me? Anybody? Okay. A company is a person without a body. Legal person without a body. If you own the shares in that person, you can decide whether that company, corporation, lives or dies for tax purposes. Okay? That's what a company is. How long does it take to make a baby? Let's say it takes a week and 9 months. Maybe, if you're lucky. Okay? In the UK, how long does it take to make a corporation? How much do they cost? Any idea? Okay. Takes about half an hour, 50 quid, whatever, 60 quid, maybe even less, maybe a bit more, depending who you do it with. So, what is the difference when it comes to paying taxes between an individual and a company or corporation? An individual earns money, gets taken away before they see it, and everything they buy has a 20% tax on. So they are taxed twice as an individual. Okay? What happens with a company? A company takes in as much money as it can, spends whatever it wants without paying value-added tax effectively. At the end of the year, if there's any money left over, pay tax on that. That's how it works. Oh, is that bad? That's just how it is. A question for you, another one. How come we're not speaking Chinese right now? Two reasons. One, China didn't have a phonetic system of writing. They invent a new word, scribble some weird character, they haven't got a clue how to say it. So that held them back. What was the second thing that held them back? They did not invent the concept of a corporation. Did that in the UK, I don't know, 1200s, 1300s, 1400s, whenever, 1500s, whenever corporations were invented, what I've just described. And how I've just described a company and how little tax it has to pay, possibly, then you may say that's terrible. Well, I'm going to paraphrase Winston Churchill. Democracy and capitalism, same thing, is the worst form of government, except for all the others. So, we don't have a better system of government than democracy with capitalism thrown in. Capitalism wouldn't function without the concept of a corporation. You're going to fundamentally change the way companies work? I don't think so. It's worked pretty well for us. Might have to tweak it here and there, but we're not going to change the concepts. So, anytime somebody says this company is not paying its taxes properly, but it's legal, but oh, morally they should be paying taxes. Wrong. If a corporation, startup, is allowed to grow big, what does it do? It employs more people, we hope. That's the goal. What happens when you employ people? They get the hell taxed out of them, and the government takes money. What is income tax? When was it introduced? What was it for? The UK introduced income tax in the Napoleonic War. So what are we talking about? 1800 to 1815. Temporary measure, income tax to fund all those soldiers, only on the rich. What happened? Well, government got used to spending loads of money. It does not matter how much money you give the government, they'll spend it and they'll want more. Never-ending cycle. It's just the nature of government. That's how it's going to be. Well, it's wrong. Government, no matter how much tax you give them, will spend it. Much better keep the money in the corporation. Either pay it out to the shareholders or, more likely, invest it to grow the business. Okay, what happens when they invest and grow the business? New opportunities are taken care of. More people get employed, more taxes get paid. And don't forget, all the things that those individuals buy also get VAT charged on. There's a fundamental principle, people should only be taxed once. Well, yeah, you should either have only income tax or value-added tax. No, we have both, because they got away with it. And government will take, it doesn't matter how much money we give the government, they'll spend it, and they'll want more. Because let's face it, you're in charge of a bunch of people in government, you're arguing for your budget, you're trying to grow your position of power, your little empire. Okay, oh my goodness, we're getting to the end of the year. We haven't spent our budget. Quick, we got to spend it, otherwise next year we'll get less money. That's no way to run a company. And sure as hell, it's no way that we should be running government. But that's how it works, all the way down the line. National government, local councils, all the way down. You know, so long as we're aware of it, that's fine. But no, corporations, if they follow the rules, that's it. Now, another thing about corporations. You start up your company in the UK. Now, as an individual, I can own shares in that company. Or, as an individual, I have the right to start up a company. It's perfectly legal. I can start up a company in any American state. Virginia, Nevada, California, doesn't matter. Let's pick Virginia or Delaware. We'll both one in Delaware. Costs you $70. You'd have a registered office. Someone will do that for you for a little bit of money each year. So I now have a US Delaware corporation. Or let's say Virginia corporation. I start up my UK company, and the initial share purchase was not me as an individual. I own the Virginia corporation. The Virginia corporation will buy, start up the UK company. Okay? Understand so far? So, the UK company takes in a bunch of money. It's managed and owned by the US corporation. Well, management fees, reasonable. Take the money back to the US. What's the corporation tax rate in the US? 35%. What's it in the UK? 20%. Maybe that's not such a good idea. Why pay taxes on profit at the end of the year unnecessarily? Responsibility to the shareholder, me, is that you do the best for the shareholders. Of course, that's what a company's all about. Growing the business at the same time, hopefully. Money thrown away to the government, you're never going to see that again, well, unless you're into subsidies. Subsidies are bad. Big government's bad. You need small government, intelligent government. So, what then happens? Ireland, little country, goes, oh, I'm only going to have 12.5% corporation tax. What are you going to do? I'm going to start up an Irish company. Irish company is going to own my American one and the UK one. So management fees go back to Ireland, only pay 12.5% if I make a profit instead of 20 or 35%. That's the way the system works. If you want to reform it, you have to say, okay, all countries have to have the same tax rate, 20%, flat rate, that's it. Then the playing field will be even. But then small countries like Ireland would be at a disadvantage. Right now, they're gaining from it. All good to them. They have sovereign right to decide their own corporation tax rate, as they should. And if the UK leaves the EU, we will have it also. Democracy, capitalism, free economy. That's the way the market works. That's our system. So, Google, Amazon, Starbucks, as long as they follow the rules, that's it. That's the way the system works. That's how come they employ so many people. They employ loads of people. Governments get their taxes in the countries where those people work. That's the way it works. That's the way it should work. And basically, all this bleating on about big companies not paying their taxes is wrong. That's the way the system works. You need educating. Politicians, accountants, bankers don't know how much. Next post, life and how money works. So, my previous post, I just said, bankers, accountants, and politicians, the vast majority of them, have no idea how money works. How do I know that? If they knew how money worked, they wouldn't have to work for money. Money would work for them. They wouldn't have to go to work every day to pay the bills. The majority of them have to. Therefore, they don't know how money works. We've already covered the concept of a corporation and an individual when it comes to paying taxes. So, what else do they need to know? How many times have you heard the words, we can't afford that, or you can't afford that? That's wrong. Those words should never be said. Not necessarily means that you buy what you want to buy. It's a need or a want. If it's a need or a want, doesn't matter. You should exercise your brain. Never say the words, we can't afford that, or I can't afford that. You have to say, how can you afford it? The more you exercise your financial muscle, the stronger it gets. Leave it on the sofa, can argue for your limitations, they're yours. You're not going to get anywhere. So, force yourself to ask, how can you afford it? Okay? Some principles involved. How do you tell a 9-year-old 10-year-old what the difference is between an asset and a liability. Now, I'm not talking about accountants, bankers, politicians' definition of an asset and liability. A liability is something that costs you money, and an asset, they will tell you, is a thing, a house, a car, a bag of golf clubs. Is that an asset? No. The definition for a 9-year-old and for grown-ups who don't understand, and that includes bankers, accountants and politicians, an asset is something that puts money in your pocket every week or every month. If it doesn't, it is a liability. So, the poor and middle class, they buy liabilities thinking they're assets. The rich buy assets.